Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you'll find us. If you're a big fan of the show and you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. No pressure, it's all good, but thank you to everybody who's done it. You guys are awesome. You make it that much easier to keep the show rolling, and I hope you know it's appreciated. So you can go to patreon.com/Holy BatCast. Again, no pressure, but we do appreciate you. We're a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. Just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode, we're doing what we promised last time. It is finally time to celebrate 20 years of Batman Begins. And it's a very special occasion. And on very special occasions, we bring the whole family together. And so I've got both of my Bat brothers. They have put aside their differences once again for the sake of the show, and I'm feeling really good about it. So he's back. He sat out last time, and we missed him terribly, but we're so happy to hear his voice again. It's Jamie Drewley. Hi, Jamie.
Wait. Brendan's on this episode too?
No, I was talking about someone else.
Okay. Look, my little brother just got his arm caught in the microwave. We're in a bit of a family crisis here. I got to go. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. It's fine. I'll just sit here by myself. The dog agrees. Anyway, yes, he is here. Sorry about it. Brendan, welcome back. Ready to talk some Batman Begins?
Sure am, my friend. I've been ready for a week. Actually, 8 days. I've just been sitting here with bated breath, waiting.
Just waiting and waiting.
If Jamie be brave enough to show up in person.
Well, I actually did this for your benefit because since, you guys never get movies in a timely fashion, I just wanted to make you wait even longer to do the commentary because I thought that was more natural for you.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. In Australia, they're celebrating its 15th anniversary. All right. Well, yes, Batman Begins, 20 years old. We promised it last time. And what we usually like to do for these anniversaries is a commentary. So we're all going to watch the movie together as one big happy Bat family. It's going to be terrific. But it's a long movie, so Wayne Manor Mailbox, not going to happen tonight. Just warning you from the start. But that doesn't mean you can't send more stuff for next time. If you want to send stuff to the Wayne Manor Mailbox, send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. And yes, next time I'm sure we'll have a ton to catch up on. But tonight, it's all about Batman Begins. Before we get to that, though, I do want to share this.
DC High Volume Batman. The Dark Knight's definitive DC Comics stories. Adapted directly for audio for the very first time.
Fear. I have to make them afraid.
He's got a motorcycle. Get after him or I'll have you shot.
What do you mean blow up the building?
From this moment on, none of you are safe.
New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
And with that out of the way, it's going to be a long one, so let's not wait any longer. It is time for us all to watch together Batman Begins for its 20th anniversary. So we've got it all queued up, folks. If you're out there at home and you're one of those overachievers who actually watches the movie with us, I know a couple of you do it. Not everyone, and I don't blame you. But if you are, now's the time. Pause it. Go get it on, whatever your choice of media is. You can watch it on iTunes. You can watch it on streaming. Maybe you're going to pull out the Blu-ray or the 4K. I assume there's a 4K. I don't think I have it. Pull out your old DVD, your old collector's edition DVD, whatever. Get it queued up, get it ready to go. We've all got ours ready to go at 0000. I'm watching mine on iTunes. I know Jamie's doing the same. Brendan's watching it on Netflix. So it should all sync up. I think we're all pretty close.
Should be fine.
It'll be fine. And it's Batman Begins. You guys know what happens.
Well, that's the thing. You don't need to watch it with us. You know this movie.
I mean, that's true, but those who do get extra Bat points.
Oh, cool.
That are redeemable for fun and prizes.
They're about as valuable as the cool points you used to get on the RF4M.
Yeah, in fact, anybody who still has cool points from RF or RM, you can actually transfer those into Bat points now.
Did inflation impact those at all? Because I should be able to retire.
Yes.
Well, they might have, except for the tariffs hit us pretty hard. So
okay,
was decreased significantly.
Right.
Just sit on them. They'll put Henry through college someday.
I'll transfer them to that cryptocurrency that Jamie's been banging on about.
I'm telling you, the way you guys are talking about how hard this dog is to find already, just imagine what it's going to be like after the movie releases. It's going to be just like that little green bastard from The Mandalorian.
All right. Well, back to Batman Begins, friends. Okay, we're queued up. We're ready to go. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, play. Sound good?
Yep. So I'm on 0, 0, 0, 0.
Great. Volume
I'm
down.
only on 3 zeros. Are we messed up already?
Yep. That's good. I got 5 zeros on iTunes for what it's worth. So here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, play.
Intense music.
I don't have intense music yet. I have sleep.
Deep, slow whooshing over ominous rhythm.
I got what Jamie has. That one.
I'll tell you what.
Tell me.
I really like this original DC Comics logo.
I do too. We only got it for a couple of movies, but I dug it.
Yeah. I actually, aside from the original that they've reverted back to now, I liked that logo. I missed it.
Captioning sponsored by Warner Brothers.
We get the swarm of bats creating more or less the outline of the bat symbol, which I always thought was a cool thing that Nolan did for the entire trilogy. It was a fun, unique way to do the title card.
And the logo was never fully formed. It was always just hinted at.
Yeah, it was mostly there, 85%. And we kick right off with Bruce and Rachel hanging out as kids.
I'm already just
culturally appropriating Native Americans.
Man, I can remember being so excited on opening day when this came out.
I'll tell you, I can't hear it because we're all doing it in silence, so we're not screwing up the audio. But from the moment this movie starts, because I can hear it in my head, we've all watched it a million times, is this entire first section of the movie where we're jumping around in time, it has so much momentum and energy that from the first couple minutes, I just knew I was in. I was like, oh my God, they grabbed me from the first second, and then the movie doesn't let go through the whole time. And I think it's the filmmaking, it's the editing, it's the music. It just has this really great energy to it that I think works so well.
No, agree.
And it was also a great way to check in. I mean, because this is the first time we're seeing Bruce's life prior to Batman in a greater context. And this is a way to show us many different parts of that life all at once. And Nolan loves his nonlinear storytelling. I think that The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises are the most linear of his films. Yeah. But it so works for this because it's setting up Bruce, and we check in with him as a kid, and now we see him overseas, and then we're going to see him when he comes back from college, and then we're we're going to check in on so many different points of his life before Batman. So the first half of the film, I just love the way it's structured like that.
Just quickly, this was my first fist bump moment. You're not the devil, you're practice.
When he gets that breakfast, I don't blame him for not wanting any part of that.
It's a weird prison setup. I'll say that. I'd love to know why old mate wants to kill him.
Well,
just the way you go and break an old mate's leg.
based on prison movies, it doesn't take a lot for some of the guys just decide they hate you and want to kill you.
I just love laying waste to all of
But like it's so sloppy and it's so undisciplined that like you appreciate like, oh, he's good at what he does, but he doesn't have it figured out yet.
Yes.
Protection for them. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we see Ducard,
Yep.
who was definitely not somebody else.
Definitely Ducard. Was the Ducard Roz thing spoiled for you?
Yeah, I think I've told this story before. My younger brother, who is 10 years younger than me, read the junior novel of this movie before the movie came out.
Oh.
And told me. Although, yeah, which I loved. But, I mean, I wasn't surprised because I just like, you just look at Liam Neeson and with the beard and the mo and everything, and it's like, that, he looks like Raz. It didn't, like, even if I didn't know going into the movie and then that reveal happened, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie?
I don't think it was spoiled for me, but I think I also was very not like, oh my goodness, when the reveal happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think at a point it became, I don't know. I this was 20 years ago, man. My memory's not that good. But I don't think I saw much of anything about this movie before I actually sat down to watch it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was spoiled thanks to Ain't It Cool News. But it was my own fault for reading the article. But it was when I read it, I saw it, I went, okay, I need to stop reading things about this movie. And so I was really mad at myself, but I was mad at the site. And then when I went and saw the movie, it didn't matter. I loved it anyway. I didn't care.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. But I mean, I wasn't into movies back then the way I am now. But even then, I was just like, you don't cast Liam Neeson and make him look that way. And then, I mean, I didn't know who Ken Watanabe was back then. Like, to me, it was just like some no-name, Asian actor who kind of looks like Raz. And then, watching the movie and the fact that they kill him off so quickly, I would have seen it coming a mile away. I don't think it would have surprised me had I not known going in. But
Ken Watanabe was actually one of the reasons I was most excited for this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, I love that guy. But I don't know if you've ever seen The Last Samurai, which he's utterly fantastic in. But that was my introduction to Ken Watanabe. So when I found out he was in this playing Ra's al Ghul, shoot.
Wasn't that I feel like that was his big breakthrough in the States, and then he was cast in this off of that.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I knew The Man Who Falls, the classic story that informs so much of this movie. I knew that because I had it in a collection when I was a kid, a Secret Origin collection. And so having Ducard, I was like, oh yeah, that makes total sense because Ducard is important to Bruce's past just because of how well I knew that story, even though he hadn't shown up in much else. And so, yeah, I think had it not been spoiled, I would have been willing to roll with Ducard.
Okay. I mean, look, neither he nor Liam Neeson are any, they're not Lawrence Fishburne.
No, who can be?
That's a fact.
I just finished
watching
a
Neeson
movie.
Can play somebody else playing Ra's al Ghul. Why the hell can't Lawrence Fishburne do it? I'm just saying.
I mean, just the look of this segment, where he's overseas and the glacier and the mountains and the snow, like this is such a shot across the bow of what this movie is going to be. And it looks unlike any Batman movie we had ever seen before. And I remember seeing that in the trailers and just being like, oh, holy shit, this is something completely different. They're totally doing their own thing.
It's not shot in a back lot.
It's stunning. Yeah, it's not on a back lot, right? It's not in a soundstage. They're out there in the world. And even that, like, yes, they did a bunch of miniatures for this temple on the side of the mountain, but it looks real, so you don't think of it like that.
No. Yeah, the miniature work's really good.
It's amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's completely convincing, which again is really what they were going for, is they don't want you to notice the effects even though they're all over the place.
Mm. Yeah, with Nolan being a Brit too, like all the miniature work and so it was all done by the Bond guys.
Of course it was, Brendan.
Well, it was. I just love how they don't give him a second to put, like, they just Straight in.
That always makes me sad when he's like, I can barely stand. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure.
So did you guys know, I mean, you probably did. Had you guys seen Bale in anything before this?
Yes. He was actually the biggest reason I was excited about this movie because I'm telling you, I still had the worst taste in my mouth for Batman movies by the time this one came out.
Yeah.
This one, actually sitting down and watching this one really brought me back into the fold. But I was just scorched from Batman and Robin. So yes, I'd seen Bale in The Machinist and a couple of other things, and I thought, wow, this cat's a really good actor, and just went from there.
Mm-hmm. I'd never seen him in anything, but like I know a friend of mine had seen Equilibrium, and he said when he saw Equilibrium, he's like, that guy'd be a really cool Batman, not thinking anything of it, and then a couple of years later, he was cast.
Yeah,
Equilibrium's a bizarre Matrix knockoff, but damn, is it entertaining.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Taye Diggs has never been better.
Like, yeah, I knew who Christian Bale was. Like, I knew from, starting with Newsies, and he was in Pocahontas and, American Psycho. That was a huge deal that he got
American
that role.
Psycho was a big one, yes.
Yeah, and then, Equilibrium, The Machinist. So, like, he was certainly in the conversation, but it's not like I was following his career up until that point. And so when he was announced, it was one of those, and this was kind of my attitude about most of Batman Begins leading up to the release, where I went, oh, okay, cool. Like, it just, I wasn't like, oh yeah, holy shit, nailed it. And I also wasn't like, boo. I just was like, Christian Bale, new Batman, great, I'm down.
And this is when we always get the question of like, who would you cast in, the gun movie and everything. And honestly, I don't know, because I like it when they cast someone like a Christian Bale who is on the cusp, like it was getting Batman as what really, that was the moment that launched his career from being, that guy, to Christian Bale. He could lead a movie and everything, and he'd be a box office draw on his own, I kind of hope they can do that again.
Same thing with Henry Cavill. Same thing with Chris Reeve. Same thing with
I'm sure David
Chris Hemsworth, with
Yep.
Chris Evans. I mean, so many of these characters that are larger than life playing these superhero roles, they were not necessarily unknown or just like brand new to the business, but they definitely hit their stride and breakthrough with these roles and became who they were after that fact.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I have no problem. It doesn't have to be a well-established name. It doesn't have to be somebody that's like a megastar or anything like that. It doesn't even have to be somebody who's. I didn't know who the hell Henry Cavill was when he got cast as Superman. I had to go find out after that the casting was announced. So
same.
I want to take a moment here to just talk about how great these scenes are between Thomas and Bruce. Really fleshing out the relationship between Bruce and his father, I think, works so well in this movie. The actor, is it Linus Roach? Am I getting that right? Who's playing Thomas here is so good. He's so warm. He's so likable. And that was another thing that, like, just the emotion in the scenes between he and Bruce really got me in the theater in 2005, where I knew that this movie was something special, because I was like, oh, we've never spent time with Thomas. I still think Martha gets kind of the
Thomas
bum rap.
May as well be a single parent in this movie, because they couldn't give a shit about Martha.
poor Martha doesn't get to say much, but
no.
But the scenes between Thomas and Bruce, I think, are really terrific. And yeah, the monorail, Wayne Tower, I really love Gotham in this. So it's that it is obviously 90% more realistic than what we saw in the Burton Schumacher films, but there's just a little bit of that with the Wayne Tower and the monorail to make it a little unique.
Yeah, and I know in the future movies it kind of loses that, and Nolan's reasoning for it was showing how big Gotham is, and it you'd never see the same thing twice, whatever. And it's just like, yeah, but I don't know. I think this was the best Gotham out of the three movies.
It absolutely was. Yeah, without a doubt. And I to me, it always just, I don't want to use, it's terrible to use the word lazy with Christopher Nolan, but it just felt like his priorities shifted with the sequels, where he's like, I don't have the time to worry about transforming the city into Gotham. It's just going to be Chicago. It's just going to be Philadelphia. Because my focus is on everything else. Whereas in this first one, there was a little more attention paid to that.
Yeah, this feels like the most, how can I say that, like, not in a bad way, but it's like the least Nolan of the three movies, and particularly by the time you get to Rises, like, he'd really hit his stride, and it's all about the twist endings and things like that, and it's just like, no, I don't really want to need that in a Batman movie. Like, I just want a straightforward Batman movie.
Yeah,
and that's
he
why
had
this will
established
always
that
be
tendency well before this movie.
Had he?
Yes.
I just
For
this
the
was
twist. I mean, my God, have you never seen Memento?
I don't think I have, to be honest.
Watch that movie, which came out well before this.
Wasn't that a remake though? Or
No,
am I
that was
thinking of another
Insomnia,
one? Insomnia, that's right.
which is also quite good, I think.
But yeah, that's why this one will always be my favorite of the three. Like, as good as The Dark Knight is, and I'll never argue with anyone who says it's the best. This is just, to this day, this is such a good Batman movie.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole death of the Wayne sequence that's playing right now, just, even though we'd seen it before, it was beautifully done. And that final moment between, again, Thomas and Bruce, I just think is so heart-wrenching, where he says, "Don't be afraid," right before he passes away.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting to this scene where we get James Gordon, the warmth of Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, up until this, was not famous for being warm and likable in his roles.
Oh God, no.
He was
He's a bad guy.
and so him as Jim Gordon was unexpected.
Stop it. Drexel is one of the greatest, most loving characters in the history of cinema.
You're right. You got me. But yeah, like, just the warmth in this scene between he and Bruce is so beautiful. And yeah, it was these little human moments in 2005 where I was like, wow, like, this is really different. And it's really focusing on the characters and the people and the emotions. And we'll get to the fun. We'll get to the, action. We'll get to the summer moviness of it. But really grounding us in these characters, God, it goes such a long way.
And see, it was this movie, because up until this time, like, Batman lore for me had been, the 60s show, the first four movies, Batman the Animated Series. And, that was all when I was a child. I'd never read stuff like Year One or, the Man Who Falls, Long Halloween, Hush, that kind of. I hadn't read any of those things, and this movie was the linchpin. That got me in. I wouldn't be friends with you guys if it weren't for this movie. That it changed everything for me. But I didn't know who Joe Chill was. To me, the killer of Batman's the killer of Batman's parents was Jack Napier.
Wow.
Because I'd never been shown anything different,
Yeah.
See, that was and then my whole world.
I mean, I have a crazy idea. You could read a fucking comic book, maybe.
That's what I mean. Like I said, I was a kid, and I'd it was the movies, the cartoons, and the comics I was reading was the Batman adventures. It was this movie that got me to go back and read all the classic stuff, and why I've got a shelf full of graphic novels and everything. Like, it was all from this movie.
We just had the beautiful scene between Alfred and Bruce. Michael Caine when he was announced as Alfred, that was one of those, like, oh, of course.
Yes.
Like, yeah, why didn't I think of that? It's just too perfect.
He was the one, actually, when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is like a movie. Like, they've got Michael Caine in it. Like, they aren't mucking around,
I mean, that's why Jaws the Revenge is a movie, because it stars Michael Caine.
I find that movie supremely entertaining, but damn, is it terrible.
I mean, yes, agreed. But, the Christopher Nolan's approach to this movie, he very much was taking his lead from Superman the movie in 1978, where he wanted great actors in every role, no matter how big or small. And so he packed the film with people like that. Rutger Hauer as Mr. Earl, unexpected, but he's so good in it. We haven't met him yet, but Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, like so many great actors in every part, and it just elevates the entire thing.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, did you guys know that theatricality and deception are powerful weapons?
I'll tell you, there's some really great lines like that in here. Just, I love the philosophies that Ducard / Roz is teaching to Bruce, that you see why it leads to Batman. I just think that's so awesome.
I just love the training in general because I'm fascinated by, martial arts and ninjas and all that stuff. It just warms my heart to see Batman shown on the screen receiving this training that shows why he's the formidable being that he is.
Yeah.
So I had a tremendous appreciation watching this movie from the very first viewing. This scene here where they're fighting on the ice with the swords and the gauntlets, I was like, damn, this is fantastic.
And real glacier and everything too. None of it's studio. Like they found one and actually did it on the ice. Like it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not someone, as a comic book fan, I don't need an explanation for everything. But like this, like the gauntlets being a way to protect yourself from swordplay, you're like, oh, that's actually really clever. So when it's done well, you go, oh, that's really cool. Again, I don't need it because sometimes I think you can go too far of just trying to explain away everything. But in this, I think it was all very well considered.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so, in this, when you're, he doesn't even have the notion of Batman yet, but you see the gauntlets make their appearance. You're like, ah.
Yeah, and I remember seeing photos and of him in the costume early on and seeing the gauntlets and thinking like, man, what would you call them? Like the wings or the scallops? Yeah, on the gauntlet, like they're really pronounced in this costume.
They're sharp.
Then you see the trailer and stuff, and you're like, oh, this is actually something. Like it's not just part of, like it's there for a reason. And that was sort of my first, from memory, like real indication of like, they're going to explain some stuff here.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys do know about the deleted scene here, don't you? Where it talks about how he built C-3PO.
Oh, I thought he was going to tell Bruce that he is chock full of midichlorians.
I was actually just making a joke. It was ill-timed because Brendan was talking, but I was going to make a joke because you were talking about how you don't need things over-explained.
Oh, which also includes midichlorians.
Yeah. I love Star Wars. I do, except for that one.
But, yeah.
It was a lot of overkill in those prequel trilogies, especially.
Right. Oh yeah, prequels will often do it the worst, where you're like, I didn't need that. Like that's a stretch, and now it's embarrassing. Now I'm embarrassed for you.
They did a good job of making Bale look like, just sort of the moppy hair and everything. Like you actually buy it. Like he looks younger. Like
the younger Bale.
Yeah.
I mean,
that much.
Bale is famous for transforming for the role. I mean, you can not tell it's him in all the kid scenes, but he's killing it.
Mm-hmm.
When he's chasing Rachel and he falls in the hole, like he looks great. No CG.
I don't know if you've seen the Naked Gun trailer, but like Liam Neeson as a little girl in a skirt, like it's amazing what they can do with makeup and prosthetics.
Yeah.
Poor old Alfred living in an empty manor with everything covered up.
I know. It's a sad life.
He would want to see stuff. Like,
I hope he took some vacations. I hope he did something. Yeah. I hope he went out and got laid. Poor guy.
Well, he never met Leslie Tompkins.
I was gonna say, but wouldn't visit Leslie Tompkins.
Still an underrated character in the Batman mythos.
I'd love to see her brought into a movie. Honestly.
She's just one of those characters that does a great job of keeping Bruce grounded,
Mm-hmm. I like his big bed of titties. That's nice.
Well, I'm never going to watch this movie the same again.
I don't think I've ever noticed that before. That's great.
Who am I talking to? How did you not notice the 4 giant titties on his bed? Who are you?
I think I was focused on other stuff, like
like the stethoscope.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm blind to stethoscope in the presence of titties.
Oh shit, bed titties. I love it. And here she is.
I like this part. The condensed milk. Do kids drink condensed milk as a treat? Is that a thing? Because it certainly doesn't sound like a thing.
No,
They
I've
use it
never
for
heard of it
cooking.
before.
Yeah,
but
but
there's
it's,
recipes for like cookies or cakes or something like that.
sure. But it was like he was like, oh, we used to sneak condensed milk, because that's a thing. I've said it in the past. I'll say it again. I think Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes gets unfairly shat upon. I think
her.
she's.
I always have, and I'm with you, Andy. Like what you were saying on the Epic Film Guys and everything. Like, I'd love to see The Dark Knight with her in it. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah. So, I mean,
You go ahead and take The Dark Knight with her in it. I'll go ahead and take Batman Begins with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I would be fine either way, honestly.
Yeah, it's the continuity. Like,
yeah. I think it was Joe on The Fire Rises who said, he goes, I never quite got the emotional impact of the death of Rachel in The Dark Knight that I think I was supposed to, because it felt like a whole new character. And I'm like, I completely agree. It really does. They call her Rachel in The Dark Knight. It doesn't feel like the same character.
No, she's written differently. It's not just the swapping of the actress. Like it's a completely different character.
And a much better actress.
Oh, I mean, she is. Maggie Gyllenhaal's great. It's not that at all.
I'm with you. I think she's perfectly fine in this movie and gets unfairly shat upon.
Yeah. I mean, even writing this into the story of Bruce going to the trial, or not the trial, but the release of Joe Chill with the intent to kill him, like that's a really interesting angle on Bruce's past, of him thinking he's going to, see justice served and then realizing that it doesn't work that way. I think this is all really great stuff.
Absolutely. I just love the balls on the chick who actually shoots him. Like, just does it. Like, doesn't even hide the fact that it's her. And, like, names Falcone. Like, just doesn't care.
Well, I feel like this is not uncoincidentally very similar to how Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
I've never heard Nolan or anybody speak up about it, but if it's not directly correlated to that, then it's a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah, it definitely feels inspired by that.
I do like that moment where she's like, we don't have to see this. And he's just like, I do. I like that moment. He gets that bit of closure, not fully that he was hoping for, but it's there. It doesn't hurt too that I had a huge crush on Katie Holmes when I was a teenager.
Oh, did you?
I was a Dawson's Creek kid.
When this movie came out?
No, I was 21 when this came out. Yeah, I'm like when I was like 15 when Dawson's Creek came out. I was a big Joey fan.
That checks out.
Yeah.
I never watched Dawson's Creek, so I never had a strong opinion.
Yeah,
but
again, I'm just that little bit younger than you.
But I'll tell you, I did not expect Michelle Williams to become like one of the most respected actresses in Hollywood. So good for her. Yeah, I think that's amazing.
I have a very good friend of mine I've known since we were 5 years old. He is roughly, his birthday's September, my birthday's February, so he's about 5 months older than me. That boy loves every one of those teen dramas, like 90210 and Dawson's Creek. So he loves Katie Holmes because of that show. And he's older than me. Which I don't know what that says about him, but hey.
Okay,
live your life.
Yeah, watch what you like.
And bless you to whoever that was who sneezed in the background.
That was my wife. From 3 floors away, you could hear that.
Wow.
Well, that's a sneeze.
Okay. That's what happens when Amazon sneezes. It goes through the whole house.
Pretty much.
She really hits him here too. Like,
she does.
Back, yeah.
I know. She hits him twice. Like, it's like one wasn't enough. I was like, how dare you? That's way harsh.
That's the moment where it clicks for Bruce.
Mm-hmm. And, this is where we get the Narrows set up, which is such a great aspect that was created for this film, but now has made its way into the comics and other media of the Narrows of Gotham. I love that. And also just the exploring the corruption of Gotham and how broken the system is, to show that, the judge was in on it and Falcone runs the town, and that like working within the system in Gotham is not an option for Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tom Wilkinson, another MVP, unexpected in this role, but my God, he's so good as Falcone. He's such a bastard. And he's someone who I remember in other roles being super sweet and likable. And then here, he is just such a cold-hearted jerk.
See, my introduction to him was he was the bad guy in the first Rush Hour movie.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was a prick in that too.
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, I saw Rush Hour, but I remember pretty much nothing about it. It's been a minute. Yeah, I forgot about that. I guess I'm thinking of like the Full Monty. Was he in that? And he was like a nice old man.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But yeah, he's a real prick in this. He does it.
He is.
He does a really good job.
Perfect.
I know some people hung some shit on him because of the accent, but again, never bothered me.
No, not at all.
It's funny to think that, like Eric Roberts, he's like the big mobster in the next one. It's like,
yeah.
Eric Roberts of all people.
Well, I mean, but that's just it. Is like I love that Nolan pulled some unexpected casting choices,
like Rutger in this one, yeah,
like Rutger in this, and it's because he loved Blade Runner. He also said that was a big inspiration for his take on Batman. So putting Rutger Hauer in the film is a great nod to that. And then Eric Roberts, I don't know why, but it was unexpected, and he's great in that movie. So
that's the most restrained I've ever seen Eric Roberts ever.
Yeah.
So some of those. I mean, Matthew Modine in The Dark Knight Rises,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he's one in each of them, which was a real sort of relaunched his career too.
Yeah.
That and Stranger Things, and now he's popping up in all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating how he just draws this education from all of these places, whether it be Falcone or Ducard, Roz, whatever you want to call it. Rachel, all of these influences, and Alfred, Gordon, all of this stuff directly affects who he becomes and how he becomes what he is.
Yep.
Instead of just being like this bitter child that decided he was going to, terrify criminals because they're coward and superstitious. I mean, that element is there with this, but there's so much more that develops him into a full-fledged character here. And that's not to say I don't think that the bat coming through the window isn't, good. I mean, that's part of Batman's history. So of course I love and respect it. But for the approach that they're taking with this trilogy, where it's grounded, realistic, dark, whatever you want to refer to it as at this point, it all makes sense in the best possible way that he became what he became because of all of these experiences, all of these encounters, all of these relationships, good and bad, made him what he was.
Yeah.
The bum before who gets the coat and everything. Do you guys know the other movie he's in with Liam Neeson?
No.
He is the villain in Taken 2.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's the same guy.
That's random. Okay, great. I love Coat Bum.
Coat Bum.
Coat Bum's my favorite Batman character.
Did I see recently somebody was throwing shade at the nice coat line?
Oh, it's been a little bit of a debate, actually.
Yeah, the Epic Film guys had one take on it, and the Fire Risers had the completely opposite take. To me, that's sort of like a nod to that's a bad outfit, but a bit more subtle. The odds of the same bum being there, 7 years later,
and we're in the
exact same spot, we're in the same coat. But look, it's a funny, not funny, but it's a nice moment.
I like it. I'll tell you that. I
never had any problem with it. You know me, I'm the no jokes guy, right?
Yeah. But it's funny because it came up when I was on Epic Film Guys, and then Joe and Eric talked about it. And then, I saw a couple other people bring it up this week with the 20th. But for me, I was like, okay, like I can understand it not being someone's favorite, but I always thought it was fun. I thought it was just a fun little moment there.
Mm-hmm.
And even the effect of the fear gas here, like the way that the story weaves in the fear gas and like where it comes from and how Roz and his organization, the League of Shadows, uses it as a tool, which then leads it to the Scarecrow. Like this movie is the way to do multiple villains where it doesn't feel forced.
Yes. And this scene is absolutely flippin' brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I adore this scene beyond all reason.
The ninja costumes that they have, Movie World introduced like a couple of them, like they had just a few ninjas and everything around the time of Begins. Like they had a guy dressed as Scarecrow and he'd always have a few of the ninjas around him. Now at Movie World, if there's ever a street show that requires like bad guys, they just wear the ninja costumes. Like, so you still see them at Movie World all the time.
Oh,
they
that's
recycle
funny.
the Begins ninja costumes for like random bad guys.
Well, if you've got some extra ninja costumes in the back.
Never let a good ninja costume go to waste, man.
Well, after this whole incident that's about to happen, any of the surviving ninjas, they all moved to New York City and started working for a guy who looked like a can opener.
Stealing TVs and stereos.
Yep. Bringing in disgruntled youth. Stealing Nintendo games.
Listening to MC Hammer.
Listening to MC Hammer. This is what we're doing.
Great song. Great soundtrack.
Anyway, there's bats flying.
There is.
Anyway, there's bats flying. There's ninjas. This scene has everything.
But I with Jamie with this, like I love the way that he now,
It's so this
is able to blend in.
As soon as this started happening, I knew exactly what he was doing, and I was like, "Oh yes, that is Batman, baby." This guy's going to have a cut on his arm. This guy's going to have a cut on his arm, and now I'm going to go find you because I know there's a cut on your arm.
Yeah, but if I was one of those other guys, I'd be like, "Ow! What are you doing?"
Yeah. Brilliant.
I didn't. Oh, I haven't. Excuse me. It's been like a year since I've watched this.
I just love the impressive.
Also, Nick Roz claps like a weirdo. What the hell are you doing, man?
He claps like Jerry Jones, who owns the Cowboys, which you two would never get that reference, but somebody out there just understood exactly what I was saying.
Jerry Jones and fake Ra's al Ghul. Clapping like weirdos.
Jerry Jones is a much bigger villain than Ra's al Ghul has ever been. But
is he immortal?
He might be, because he looks like he's like 115.
This poor bugger.
I mean, fake Roz looks pretty cool. I'll give him that. But I always felt bad for Ken Watanabe, where I was like, oh, that's all you got to do? Poor guy.
He made up for it in Inception.
That's true.
And also got a lot of action figures for this movie.
Yeah.
More than what Liam Neeson did.
Yeah, they had like those like fighting figures of Batman and fake Roz.
Yeah, and like statues and stuff, like all the Roz stuff, because they obviously wanted to keep the secret. Anything Roz was Ken.
Yeah.
I remember one of the theatrical trailers was cut to make it look like he and Scarecrow were talking to each other.
Oh my God, yes, I remember that.
It's the Gotham must be destroyed.
Gotham must be destroyed. Which I love that moment. I loved it in the trailer because that just feels like a very Batman movie moment.
Mm-hmm.
The subtle movement of Ken Watanabe's eyebrows when he talks adds so much to his performance. Not just in this movie, but in anything he's ever in.
Just the way he delivers that line is really good. Bruce is like, you guys are freaking nuts.
He's like, wait, what? What? This just took a turn. I was just doing my final exam, and now you want me to cut someone's head off?
I see both sides of this argument, though. I totally get where both sides are coming from. I don't know that I want to behead somebody for stealing bread to feed his hungry kids or anything, but I understand what they're saying about don't trust the bureaucracy to fix the problem. Fix it yourself. And again, I think Bruce understands that too, because that's why he's there in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just not willing to go to that extreme.
Yeah.
And of course, we can dance around the line all we want with exactly how well he obeys that particular rule, but
this is a really cool sword fight.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the fights in this? That was something that came up with Epic Film Guys, and it's something that's been discussed over the years. Is Nolan
can't direct action, can't direct a fight scene, blah blah. I remember all of that. I have no problem with it because what these fights are not is, and again, don't get me wrong, because I appreciate entertainment value in movies, as you've all heard me say numerous times. These fights are believable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
they're not 30 minutes long. They're not two guys punching each other in the face 200 times and barely having a bruise on their cheek from it. I suppose you can make a case for maybe they could have been cut better, shot more. I can't think of the word. The continuity of the shot being better with them, but I think they're trying to deliver like a frantic thing in a lot of these fights to give it a little bit more of that grounded realism.
I still think that
I don't know if y'all have ever been in a fight, but it's not exactly something that is just very calm and peaceful and everything else. It's utter chaos going on in both people's minds,
Yeah. I will say just quickly, I always thought Raz died really easily.
He did.
It's like he had a few bits of wood fall on him. Like, I know it would hurt, but I don't know if it'd kill you.
I get that, but when I saw him laying there, I'm like, well, thank God there's a Lazarus pit somewhere in the vicinity. So I never believed he was dead. I just didn't realize that he was dead and Raz was actually somebody else.
Yeah.
That didn't dawn on me.
To answer your question, Andy, I never had a problem with it because I remember hearing or reading an interview really early on with the release of this movie. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Nolan's intent for the fight scenes not to be clear and too choreographed. I mean, obviously they were choreographed, but like not look too practiced because
it's part of the script when Ducard says this is not a dance.
Yeah, yes. He was giving the audience the POV of the thugs, the villains, like what the hell is going on? Like I can't quite make out what this is. Like particularly in the dock scene, like you're meant to be seeing it from the POV of them, of like, it's not pulled back and you're seeing really precise movements and stuff. It's meant to look dirty and messy, and you're meant to not know what is happening because all of a sudden there's this guy in a black costume just laying waste to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they are not my favorite Batman fights, but I still think they work very well for these films, especially this one. And I mean, the dock scene is shot that way intentionally because yes, it's all about the confusion and not getting a glimpse because you want that reveal at the end. But in the end, in the climax, when he's still fighting more of Raz's guys, that's still cut and shot a little confusingly. And at that point, there isn't a story reason. It just is. Again, that's the style they were going for. It doesn't bother me. So I understand when people say it's, it doesn't work for them. I think it works well enough. And again, I appreciated the rationale of the style of fighting to be a little more quote unquote realistic, or at least feel that way.
Well, let's put it this way. I like it better than, like, say, the fight scene at the end of Rises. Like in the broad daylight. Like, I prefer, the fight we just, or that we're going to see soon. I prefer that take and style than what we got in the climax of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Where it feels too clear and you can see everything and you can be declared dead.
Yeah, it is almost like in Rises, Nolan overcompensated and showed us a little too much, and it showed some of the seams. I mean, some of the best
about the roles.
Yes. Some of the best laughs and smiles come from Alfred, as they should, but Kane just nails it.
Yeah.
Because this movie, I love this movie, by the way. Yes, it is a much more realistic take on Batman, where they're explaining things, and it's a lot more interested in the psychology of Bruce and what would make him become Batman. All that's true, but it is still a piece of summertime entertainment, and I think it is able to do all those things, amazingly well. It's still fun, it's still funny, it's exciting, but it also has a lot to say, and really isn't afraid to dig into the characters. And Nolan balances all that so deftly in this movie. He makes it look easy.
Cillian Murphy, still my favorite Jonathan Crane.
Well, you have so many options of live action Jonathan Cranes.
Not just live action, but even with like animation and everything else. This is probably my favorite version of Scarecrow altogether. Maybe not for the total appearance of like in the costume aesthetics. With you, I would prefer a little bit more of the the Halloween true Scarecrow look, but just the way he delivers and the mask and everything else, I think is great. But it also may be because he reminds me of Decker from Nightbreed. Shout out to Guy Milks. He knows exactly what I'm talking about right now. Because that dude was terrifying. And this dude's pretty terrifying given the context of the film that he's in. So
he's great. I love Cillian Murphy in this. He does something very interesting with the character, and he makes him like a little weaselly and a little off, and it's perfect. And I think he really nails it here.
Just quick, I just wanted to mention too how we saw Zaz before, a little cameo from another Batman.
That gave me a chuckle in the theater, and everybody was looking at me like, "What's the matter with you?" I'm like, "If you don't know, I'm not explaining it."
I appreciate that we don't get the bat bursting through the window, but we do get the bat in the study anyway, and I think that's a great nod.
If there's one thing I would change about me building that house is I would put less stairs in it because there's such a long walk up there.
You'd put a slide.
I would put a fireman's pole.
That works.
Yeah, like right behind a bookshelf or something.
Yeah, I have like some sort of bust.
Yeah, just like a little. Yeah, it's a quick way to get there.
And shout out to Crane for being the one continuous villain thread with all three movies.
Yes, yeah. That was a really nice surprise on the opening day of The Dark Knight.
I love that scene so much. That is possibly one of my favorite Batman sequences of all time. Is that parking garage thing at the beginning of The Dark Knight.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I don't want to take away from what we're about to see, but when it finishes, I want to ask you guys a question.
All right,
about
great.
This movie before we move on too far from the scene. But
this is why I could never be Batman. I would be freaking claustrophobic, freaked out right here.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go cave diving if I didn't know what was in there.
Well, I wouldn't do it without,
I said Alfred.
Lucius Fox first.
Yeah.
This moment's so cool.
Yeah, this is amazing. It's worth noting. It makes me sad I can't hear the music, but I can hear it in my head.
Yes.
And the score is beautiful in this film. But yeah, here when that music pumps up and he's surrounded by those bats,
and
you're just like
rising up into it. Oh, the imagery is fantastic.
It's here where he just has that big breath in of like, I've got this. It's so good.
Yeah, facing his fear.
Yep. Love it. The question
on a much smaller scale, this is actually me every night right now when I let my dogs out.
Oh,
because there's always bats flying around. There's bats all over my property right now, and that's fantastic.
The question I was going to ask is, do you think that Rachel's boss, the DA in this, should have been Harvey?
Oh, no.
No? I know obviously that if they didn't kill him, but like just to sort of have that character already seated, or were you happy that they didn't bring him in this movie?
No, I think it works both ways. I think it could have been cool if he was already Harvey, but when I was sitting in the theater in 2005 and we introduced and we realized that's the DA, I literally thought to myself of like, oh, he's not going to make it because the DA has to be Harvey Dent.
Yeah. But I don't know, I always thought that it would have been interesting if they'd introduced him in this movie and, he didn't need to die. It wouldn't have changed the story if he survived, and it would have shown, that he and Rachel had a longer relationship, and
That's fair. I get that.
And
I like that. I like that old guy because he shows
he comes back. Yep.
Yeah.
And this Jessica, the secretary, is the wife in Black Lightning.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Because I remember seeing Black Lightning and being like, why is she familiar?
Yes, I had the same. I'm like, why do I know her? And then the second I looked at IMDb, I'm like, she was the secretary.
Yeah, it's a quick little moment, but
I love this moment.
Yeah. Bruce's triumphant return to Gotham is so cool.
There's a moment coming up here where I think it's the best Bale ever looked as Bruce Wayne. I think it's the most Brucey ever looked.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. This here, just him sitting in that chair.
Oh, yeah.
He looks so much like Bruce Wayne in that shot. I think more than he does in any other point of the three movies.
I could see
I don't
that.
know what it is.
I never thought about it, but yeah.
God, he's.
I have a Wayne Industries Applied Sciences Division T-shirt, and nobody ever comments about it. Like any other shirt I wear,
oh really?
That's a cool shirt. But anytime somebody sees that, it's like they just don't grasp that it's, comic book stuff.
Yeah, I love Mr. Earl because he's so nice for the first 2/3 of the movie where you go, but because it's Rutger Hauer, you're like, I know this guy's not nice. Like there's something coming. But like, because he's saying all the right things, welcome home, this is where you belong, we're going to be watching over it for you. He says all the right things, but you're like, no, I still don't trust you. And then sure enough, he's an a-hole.
Well, Rutger's one of those guys that really can toe the line well between good guy and bad guy too. Even though his good guys are typically the much more of the, the badass type than, the knight in shining armor type, if you will.
I don't think I ever saw him play a good guy.
Lady Hawk?
Oh, I've never seen
Blind Fury?
I see, Blind Fury.
Yeah, Dead or Alive?
I don't know what Blind Fury is.
He's a blind ninja. He's like Stick from Daredevil.
Oh, I think of Blade Runner, The Hitcher, and this.
I always thought it was funny
about Lothos.
Obviously, you don't see Bruce asking the question because it's just like, how perfect that he's walking around and just showing him all the things that he's going to need. Like, you never see Bruce like, do you have, what have you got in this and this and this? It's just like he just randomly shows him all the stuff that he's going to use.
I want him to show him something completely useless, like, oh, and this is the margarita machine, and Bruce is like, I don't need to see that. I just want things that are going to help me punch people.
But this was the one thing, as much as I loved this movie, and I'm glad they addressed it in The Dark Knight, as I'm just like, he's using a Wayne Enterprises vehicle painted black. Like, people in that company are going to recognize that car. Like, I just blew my mind. I'm like, how is he getting away with this? And then they actually addressed it in The Dark Knight. I'm like, well, that's kind of perfect. Thank you. Because I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought it.
Well, they also very much had Lucius as like an outsider inside of the company. Like this whole division was him and nobody else is around, if you notice.
Yeah. Well, and it's all shit that never like made it to production. Cause like, yeah, I mean, like how many failed concepts has Apple created that we're oblivious to? So it's certainly not public knowledge, but you're right. If someone does enough digging,
people would have had to build it.
Well, you can say the same thing about the Batcave and, all the gadgetry that he uses and everything else. But even the way it's presented in The Dark Knight, when the guy's calling Lucius out on it, it's not because he at one point saw this car driving around in the garage or the parking lot.
Yeah, he found the blueprint.
He found the blueprints for it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Lucius was onto him from the start when he asked about if it's bulletproof. You plan on running into a lot of gunfire in these caves?
So Lucius was never a character I had any familiarity with, but boy, do I love him in this movie.
He's so good. And again, I think it was a very clever spin. Prior to this, Lucius was not the Q, at least to my knowledge. He was someone who worked at Wayne Enterprises, who was good friends with Thomas Wayne, but he wasn't like the tech guy. And I thought that was just a twist they made for this of being like, well, what if he was? What if that was his specialty at Wayne Enterprises, and that's how Bruce gets a lot of his gear? I thought that was a very smart problem-solving way to go.
Mm. I want to see the scene when he, takes someone to the Batcave that he's rescued, and they're like, "What's that?" And there's just like cartons and cartons of 10,000 cows that he's never used.
I thought that was a brilliant stroke too, because Alfred's telling him, if we just order a couple of these, it's going to be really suspicious. And in order to avoid that, we have to order like these massive quantities of them. And it's not like it's going to hurt his pocketbook, but at the same time, it provides that little bit of levity in that moment where, at least we'll have spares. But I think that's brilliant, because these are the things that they would have to discuss when they're putting together this thing that they're doing,
Mm.
Yeah. Flass is so gross. Also,
Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah. From John Carpenter's Vampires.
Yep.
Gets split right in half.
He's great in everything, man. I love that guy. He's one of those actors that like nobody really knows his name, but I guarantee you've seen him in something.
That's something I want to see in a gun movie, is on the big screen. I want to see Harvey Bullock. Hasn't been done.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like we're going to get that.
I would not be shocked. I just watched that fan film. What was it called? Easy to Die, something like that. Batman Easy to Die. Dying is Easy. Batman Dying is Easy. And Michael Madsen is in it playing Bullock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's almost too perfect to be true.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah, they got some recognizable people in that. It was fun. This sequence, just the beginning of the partnerships between Gordon and Batman. Now we're two. Amazing.
And sticking him up with a stapler.
And that's why Milton can't find a stapler.
I have an action figure of Bruce in this outfit.
I remember them selling it, but I was like, I don't really need that.
It actually came as a 2-pack with Gordon. I wanted it for Gordon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, I appreciate this where he gets away, but he's like, okay, I need a better way to get away because that hurt.
Always reminded me of Mask of the Phantasm. Like seeing Bruce go out for the first time just wearing like a balaclava.
Yeah. What else can I get for you, Mr. Wayne?
I went back and rewatched the special features.
On the original
the original DVD. Like they created their own material for the cape. Like it didn't exist and they had to create it.
Yeah. I mean, this explanation for the cape is complete nonsense, but you buy it. Like you go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I could make a joke, but I'm not going to.
Okay. I don't know where you're going with that, but all right.
Squirrel suit.
Oh.
What's that?
Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
I love the delivery of that line.
The tumbler. The very first photo revealed for this movie was a photo of the tumbler. And I just remember, being like, huh, interesting.
I adore this thing. The way it sounds, the way it looks. Obviously, it looks better in black than it does in desert camo, but I think this thing is fantastic. I maintain to this day, I love the 89 Batmobile. I love it. But if I'm getting a cruiser, I want the 66. If I'm getting one to actually be Batman, I want this.
Well, That's fair. This is the most functional.
It's a functional, yeah.
Yeah, and it was one where, again, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but then once I saw the movie, and then I saw that freaking Tumblr chase that's coming up, it blew me away, and I was like, okay, I'm in. You sold me. Love it.
I mean, it's one of those things. 20 years on, it still looks weird. Like, I
Oh, it
love
is,
it,
yeah.
but it still looks really bizarre.
Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't admit this out loud, but sometimes when I just want some Batman goodness, I start the movie at this scene.
That's fair enough.
Because I know it's about to go into the docks, and I just want the Batman half. I know that's cheating, but sometimes you do what you got to do.
Come on. How many times have we all watched the Martha Rescue at this point?
Yeah.
Just independent of the rest of the film.
Well, when, this was first out on DVD and stuff, and, whenever I got a new TV or anything, the scene I used to test it out was the dock scene. Like, I would...
Oh, yeah.
That's the scene I would put on, or like a test out a sound system, or... I mean, look, I watched this movie... I ended up watching it last weekend for the 20th. I didn't want to wait an extra week. And 20 years on, I still get goosebumps, and just, you get that feeling in your gut, in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And that dock scene's about to start. You're just like, here we effing go.
Yeah.
And 20 years on, it still works. And until the Martha Rescue, this hands down was my favorite Batman scene of all time.
Mm.
I mean, the Martha Rescue is, God, it's going to take some work to top that. But this is a very close second still. I absolutely adore the dock scene.
Yeah.
It's terrific. And, Andy talks about, maybe skipping to this part. And, I get that. I don't have any issue with it. But for me, it's like I don't necessarily skip to the parts in the movies a lot. But what I will do is have a movie on for like background noise. But when something is coming that I know is like one of my favorite parts, I stop what I'm...
Yep.
No, I'm not folding laundry. I'm not playing, Scrabble on my phone, something like that. Like, I think we were talking a week or two ago when I was watching Man of Steel. I was like, all right, Zod just showed up at Martha's porch. I'll be with you guys in a few minutes because I'm watching this.
Yep. I mean, a few weeks ago, we were traveling. We were on the plane, and now my iPad is Harley's iPad. So she's watching whatever she wants. But I was able to put a movie on my phone, and with American, they had this movie. And I was going to have to watch it silently because she had my iPad, but I jumped to this and I watched a huge chunk of the movie in silent on my phone just because I was like, well, I got something for me to watch and I know it well enough. I was able to do it.
And we'd never seen Batman like this before. It's like a horror movie in this part. Yeah. It really is. And just the way, a couple of seconds ago, the way the first guy disappears into that storage crate. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'll never, ever forget the feeling I had seeing that, in 2005.
Well, when this came out, Patton Oswalt wrote a review for it for Ain't It Cool? It was under a pseudonym, but it was him. And yeah, he's like, and then there's this part where Batman's like the effing alien and he's grabbing effing bad guys. And it was and it read like an over sugared fanboy, and it was hilarious. And because he certainly loved it, but the way he wrote it was just so funny. So that's what I always think of is like, he's just like the effing alien. I mean, and the final little moment in this scene with the here.
Yep.
That was the big reveal in the trailer, the first trailer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think for a moment seeing that first trailer, the Where Are You? I thought that was Jonathan Crane because he looks like Jonathan Crane but then obviously it's not. But for a hot minute there, I thought it was.
It's a great moment, but yes, from the trailer, I thought that guy was going to be a character, and he's not. He's just a random thug. I didn't think he was Jonathan Crane though. But yeah, this really great moment.
He's the Lawrence of Batman Begins.
Oh, yeah, he should have a Lego.
Yeah. Bang.
See, I feel like this is deliberately shot this way to
give
the chaotic feel of it. And
Well-
people argue that it's because Nolan didn't know how to shoot action, and I feel like this was a very deliberate choice to do it the way that he did it. And anybody who thinks he can't shoot action really needs to
Oh,
watch
wow.
this.
In my subtitles then, Falcone just said, "Oh shit." I've never heard him say that before. This is still my favorite I'm Batman of all of them. I'm sorry, Michael Keaton, but this one I'm just like, hell yeah, you're Batman.
Yeah, but then he ruins it by saying nice code. So
Yeah, that's true. God, he looks good there.
yeah, he really does. It's an amazing moment.
And I love
It's a
the
great-
mum just standing there, like, not even paying attention to anything. It is kind of like, it is funny, but
I think so. I like it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I like it.
And I love that, we're now at like the hour mark thereabouts. So we finally get the reveal of Batman. Again, I think the magic trick this movie pulls off is it takes an hour for him to show up as Batman and you don't care
miss it.
because it's so good. But then when, it finally happens, much like Superman the movie, it's not just that one sequence. We now get another Batman sequence immediately following it because it's like Nolan knows, okay, I've made you wait this long. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of something, give you a little loving, give you a little Batman.
This was the first full scene I saw from the movie because on a talk show over here, Katie Holmes did an appearance a couple of days before the movie came out to promote it, and they showed this scene.
I also think he looks amazing here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Looks so perfect.
And I don't even necessarily love any of the costumes from these movies, but he still looks perfect in that moment.
Yep.
Oh,
and I love the
costume. I adore.
I love the way the electricity like outlines the bat symbol on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's such a cool touch.
Yeah, of all three movies, Bale doesn't look better than he does in this film.
Oh yeah, agreed.
I definitely agree with that, but even this costume is not like on my Hall of Fame chart or anything.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think I'm with closer to Jamie is I do like it. I think it's the best one, but I still would put a bunch of the others above it. I feel like that's gotta hurt him, man.
That's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
I do. It's always found it funny how normal it looks in this movie, but at the start of The Dark Knight, even though we haven't seen the slim one yet, he looks so big. It looks huge in the opening scene of The Dark Knight.
Pause for Batman looking awesome, standing on top of a building, looking down at Gotham.
Was that Bale?
It's amazing.
Probably.
I know he did all those shots in Dark Knight, but I don't care. In this one.
It's so good.
I do kind of like that they went with Commissioner Loeb, but he doesn't seem like he's a scumbag.
No, he doesn't. No, he actually seems like he means well.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously you guys know in the comics, like, he's a prick of a man, but in this one he seems legit. Like,
I mean, isn't he essentially the villain of year one?
Pretty much.
Like, that's my memory, is that the big bad is pretty much Commissioner Loeb. Titty bed.
This is another terrific moment here. These movies are filled with them, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, again, like just really setting up the rationale of like, if this is what you're doing, you need to be more careful, and you need to start thinking through all of it. What does this mean for Bruce Wayne?
You are right, Andy. They are a big old pair of titties on that bed.
I know. I told you. Hence why it's the best Batman movie ever made.
Best bed ever made.
I need a new bed.
Love the way he just drops into something.
I know. Wakes right up and starts doing push-ups. Oh, hell no. I need at least 2 hours to wake up before I'm doing any of that. And then, now we really, really kick into the big conflict of setting up the microwave emitter.
Which I thought was
That
a
guy's
little
familiar
much.
too. I feel like I've seen him elsewhere.
All white people look alike.
That's true. I bet he can't dance for shit.
They used to have a big prop one of these at Movie World too in the
Really?
the Nolan days.
The
that had
microwave
like
emitter?
yeah, they had like a state like a main street show that was Batman versus the Scarecrow, and they had like a big prop microwave emitter that would come out and do its thing.
Okay. Merchandising idea: a microwave oven that looks like the microwave emitter.
I'd buy it.
Wait.
He getting his wallet.
I'm in.
This line was in a lot of the that's coming up was in a lot of the TV commercials too. About
you see
you
my
should see
other
my
one?
other one. Yeah.
Yep. I like that the license plate is the Illinois license plate, but it says Gotham instead of Illinois because they did a lot of the shooting in Chicago. So I think that's a cool nod. I also, this is another one that was in a lot of the trailers. Again, some of the lighter, more fun moments of him saying, obviously a man who dresses up like a bat seriously has issues.
Cameo from Prince here.
Yeah.
Looks more like Morris Day, but all right.
Well, he can't leave Vicky waiting in the pool. Oh, okay.
Wait a second. Did you just make a Vicky waiting joke?
That was only for you. It was for you, Jamie. Listen, I don't know a lot about buying hotels, but I'm pretty sure that the maitre d' is not the guy you give the check to. But I do love, like really seeing the playboy side of Bruce for the first time in film here, where like he's such a goof off that people would never suspect.
There's a moment that ties into that coming toward the end as well that I'll address when it gets here. But again, I feel like it's one of those terrific Bruce / Batman moments.
Mm-hmm.
God, Katie Holmes is attractive.
She is
a lovely human being.
Yep. When Xenu made her, he broke the mold.
Poor Bruce. It's like he's been caught with his pants down. With the two other models, which are very, very 2004, 2005.
What's Katie Holmes even up to these days? I feel like I haven't seen her in ages.
She's kind of just been a mum. After all the Tom Cruise bullshit. Like, yeah.
You guys ever see The Gift? The Sam Raimi movie?
I don't think so.
So add that to your Scarathon list this year, even though it's not necessarily a true horror film, but it's Cate Blanchett, Keanu Reeves, Katie Holmes, Giovanni Ribisi, and it's probably my favorite Katie Holmes performance ever. And if you need any additional incentive, she gets topless.
Well, I was going to say, teaching Mrs. Tingle was a favorite of mine when I was a teenager, because she was topless in that too.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Sure, it was teaching Mrs. Tingle. My only complaint with the Scarecrow in this, and I'm sure everyone would agree, like, I just wish I wish he wore the mask more, but B, I wish they showed just like a clear shot of it. You know, you never really get a good look at it, because they always have the stuff superimposed over it, which is a cool effect.
Yeah,
but yeah, I always really like. I've got a prop Scarecrow mask.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, to your point, having to look at the toys to feel like I really know what he looks like.
Yes, and even the toys are a bit off.
Yeah, because the toys, gave him a little more of a costume than he even has in the film, just because it's a toy. But yeah, I mean, the way the movie like eases you into Batman where you buy it, I feel like they could have done the same with the Scarecrow, especially once he gets his own gas and he starts to lose his mind. Like at that point, it would have made him total sense for him to be like, I am the Scarecrow and go full on. But
He's a cool
it's,
mask though.
I know it's a nerdy little nitpick, but you know, I have very few about this movie.
Because it was funny. I mean, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but like the Scarecrow at Movie World was literally just a guy in a suit with a sack on his head.
Yeah.
It's not much of a costume.
No. Yeah, and the one they made up for the toy, you know, it was better because at least like that shot.
It was the straitjacket.
Yeah.
It was the straitjacket.
No, like there was even one that it was more of like a burlap overcoat.
Oh, really? I don't remember seeing that one.
Yeah.
Love this scene.
Yeah, this is a great scene.
Again.
And while he's out there, I just kept thinking, little Barbara Gordon's in there, Batgirl's in there. But yeah, these scenes between Gordon and Batman are what I had been waiting for in a movie since 1989.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think a lot of fans agree. And when you're like, oh, good, they're actually dedicating the time to Batman and Gordon. It's such an important part. And this movie nails it.
100%.
And I love Gordon. He's just such a realist. I think you're trying to help.
Oh. That's going to become a recurring theme.
I get grossed out with him eating that sandwich in the rain.
Wet falafel.
Yeah, the wet, soggy falafel sandwich. Gross.
Listen, if it's good falafel, I'll eat it wet, dry. I don't even care.
Another moment coming up here that used to give me goosebumps coming up to it.
Oh, I think it is become an iconic Batman moment. Yeah, an iconic Batman moment. Absolutely.
Depending on the day you ask me, I'll tell you this is my favorite scene in this movie.
The look on his face. I love it.
Yep.
And I think the voice here is perfect.
Yep.
I know that's been a point of contention the last couple of days with the 20th, people talking about the voice, but...
No, this scene is so good, using that fear as a weapon, him looking just so scary, so intimidating, so angry. It's awesome.
Mm. You know, I was thinking about it, because obviously the voice conversation has come up. With how the setup of this movie, you know, and the character and how he's applied sciences and all that kind of stuff. It is odd that they didn't go voice modulation in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah, I guess that's
like
true.
It would have made it's really surprising that we had to get to Affleck before we got it, because you know he's got the way he's going about trying to hide his identity and all this sort of stuff. Like it would have made perfect sense in this world for him to have the modulated voice, but. Yeah, I do think he goes too far, particularly by the time you get to Rises, when you virtually can't understand him at some points. But in this, I think it's a good Batman voice.
I'm sending you that photo of the Scarecrow figure.
Okay.
That I was talking about. So it was released with the Dark Knight toys, but you can see that they kind of give him a bit more of a...
I have that on my shelf. It's right next to me.
Well, then what the hell's wrong with you?
I always took that as like the straitjacket look.
No, that ain't a straitjacket. That's like that's like a big overcoat made of some sort of rags and materials.
I could literally reach out and touch that figure right now.
Oh, well... No, like the Begins one is very clearly a straitjacket, but that one with the Dark Knight.
You just sent that in the group chat too, so everyone, Joe and Eric are going to be like, what?
Oh, did I send it in the wrong chat?
That's right. I still got it.
Oh, well.
Here's John Blake.
Shut up.
The meme of how this turns him into Joffrey is pretty funny.
I also love, there's a lot of really great, just cool Batman shots, and the one of him hanging off the side of that wall in the rain.
I love
badass.
So I'm just going to interrupt you. I love the way he just blends into the shadows right there. The way he crouches. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's me
and
sneaking up.
Slowly creeps up. It's so good. Oh, I love it. You know what? I feel sorry, if not just for this guy, but just people in movies in general, when they get knocked out from behind when they're taking a piss. Like, you know, I mean, it's bad enough you're knocking him out. He doesn't need to piss all over himself as well.
Like, just don't take a job as a henchman. You know better. Yeah, the bat crawling out of Scarecrow's mouth is pretty damn cool.
This shot, in a second, that's kind of like the clearest shot you ever get of him in the mask.
Yep. I feel like that was a promo shot that made the rounds.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. It is sort of the clearest shot.
That's just the shot of him on fire, too, is like a really cool visual.
Yeah. When he says, you look like someone who takes himself too seriously, you need to lighten up. I made that reference on Epic Film Guys, and they didn't seem to get it, and I felt really sad. I quoted that. It was just like silence. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Nobody gets me.
Oh, so yeah.
I just thought it was so interesting the way the grapple gun interacts with the belt buckle to, in order for him to rise up. I think that's such a cool detail.
Yeah, it sort of pulls him up from his center of gravity.
Yeah.
Instead of dislocating his shoulder.
Well, and it has like those two little dots, and it almost seems like those little dots are like the motor.
Yeah.
That pulls him up.
They borrowed that whole idea from the Batman '89 action figure.
Oh, do they now? Oh, you're right. They do. Except there was the whole belt. And the shot of Alfred driving, and was like, that's how I feel when I'm driving in. My kid is crying in the back. When he says he's been out 2 days, I'm mostly just jealous. I could use 2 days of good solid sleep right now. That would be awesome. This could be a good birthday movie. You could watch it on your birthday. Or Father's Day. We're very close to Father's Day. This also, I think, is a good one for that.
I love this interaction here, and like Fox having that funny line.
I just wanted you to know how hard it was.
Yeah, just the way he delivers it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
But you said about the birthday, like I was watching this as a 21-year-old, and he's turning 30, and it's just like, oh man, 30, that's so old. And now I'm 41 watching it back, and I'm just like, oh.
He still had his whole life ahead of him.
Yeah.
Unlike us. I also like just the casual Lucius.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, for some reason, that line's always stood out to me. He's like, Lucius? Like, couldn't you just say, see ya?
Yep. 30 years old. So old. I feel like I've heard like fellow Batman fans say that they watched this on their birthday because of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that before. And she just mentioned her boss has been missing, and I was like, see, leaving an opening for the DA of Gotham. I wonder if that's in any way important.
And just the way Bruce's face changes there, the way he's listening, like he changes from Playboy Bruce to Batman without the mask. And it's so subtle. It's really, really good.
Yeah. She is a little rude to him here, where she's like, some of us have work to do. It's his birthday, lady. Would you please be nice? He doesn't need a guilt trip on his birthday.
I mean, you already slapped him twice and told him his father would be ashamed of him. Like, come on.
I know. Well, kindness.
She didn't even buy him a present. She just,
I know.
That in a drawer. Like, tighter.
Yeah. Here's a piece of shit that was
I'm glad she dies.
Bottom of my drawer.
F Rachel.
She gets what's coming to her.
This is another, from this moment on, like the next, 20, 25 minutes is just utter brilliance.
It is, yes. It is all worth the wait. And I appreciate the passageway. You know, it's slightly unique to this version, but still very much in line with what we've seen in the comics and other
Oh
things.
yeah, for sure.
I also like the element of tying in the elevator in the cave with the Underground Railroad. So knowing like the Wayne family has always been trying
Always
to
helped people. Yep.
Yeah, trying to bring justice into the world. And look at that case. I bet Jamie loves that case. It's not even a hanger.
No. I too. I love the logo on the costume in this one.
It's cool.
I don't think the logo from the other ones worked quite as well. I really, really like it.
Yeah.
Why it wasn't the logo for the trilogy, I don't know, but
I know. Well, and it was, you know, I guess maybe it's like Batman 89, where it's weird that like the logo on the suit was one thing, but then the one in all the marketing was a different thing. And here it is. Here it is, Mr. Earl.
Just the way it's like, and then I'm firing you. It's like, what did he do? Like,
yeah, I'm just sitting here doing my job late at night because that's the kind of guy I am.
Like, surely, you know, you need 3 warnings. You can't just fire someone.
Well, they're not union. Yes, you can. I do think Arkham looks very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very real Arkham, but it's just enough.
Yeah.
Scarecrow is his safe word, but nobody's respecting it. Could you imagine the alternate reality where Cillian Murphy got the gig as Batman? I can't picture it.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have needed to beef up, but this worked out because he's such a little weasel.
Yeah. It's like how people would, like, Jude Law was in the running for Superman, and I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah. But even, again, the way he talks here, I just love the cadence in his voice. There's nothing convenient about it.
He's so creepy.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she follows him into the elevator is like, I'm like, Rachel, that's on you. Like, I wouldn't be going into a small enclosed space with this guy.
Well, I appreciate that she like doesn't back down on him.
That is true.
She's like, yeah, like I think that's great. She's like, I don't have to listen to you. I'm bringing in my own doctor and we're doing it tonight. No matter what he says, she's like, nope, that's not how it's going down. Like, I appreciate that. Like, she knows what he is up to, and I like that she's not afraid to tell him. She's like, I'm missing a birthday party for this. We're doing it tonight.
I was going to have condensed milk and everything.
Yeah, we were going to have condensed milk cocktails. We were going to play Cowboys and Native Americans with this arrow I found. Note to self, never drink the water in Gotham. Just never do it. It's never...
Don't even go there. How do people not know better yet by now?
Always bring your own. Bottled water from Bloodhaven.
Or at least boil
it. they're on a nonstop boil warning. Oh. He's so creepy there.
But it always, even now, 20 years on, it frustrates me that, like, he's questioning her, and then you hear the noise, and the first thing he does is take the mask off. I'm like, no, leave it on.
You're the Scarecrow, asshole. But even this way, the way he says, the Batman. I love it. Yeah, it's so good.
Is that Harley running around?
No.
Oh, okay.
My house is empty. That's on Jamie's side.
This is called my wife beating popsicles so they're easier to eat because it's 90 freaking degrees here.
Okay. Is your nickname Popsicles?
No.
Would you guys have preferred how it was originally supposed to be, where Katie Holmes kept seeing like the prosthetic Christian Bale Batman in the Batmobile.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever
apparently
heard that.
that's what. Yeah, one of the things they were going to do was from her POV in the Batmobile, he was still going to be like the giant
The
hulking.
demon version.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Because I think the argument ended up being like, why would you see the same thing that Crane saw?
Yeah,
But
and I think
then
it also just been
like
too
you kind of
too
she just sees
distracting.
flashing lights, like
Yeah. They just made a figure of that, right?
yeah, McFarlane did.
Yeah. Which again, a little too specific for my collection. I don't need it, but I
They'll
respect
make that, but we still
how
can't get a
thorough.
panther suit.
Right.
You know, Kilmer costume. It is a cool look, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very cool, unexpected moment. It's creepy. And have you ever noticed, like, his mouth? It looks like there's like goo coming out of his mouth.
I was just about to say, and people complained about the penguin in Batman
No,
Returns.
this is a nod to Batman Returns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool.
I love the way he just throws him up against the pole. Just bang, just without a care in the world.
Yeah.
But even that, like, is kind of a funny line from Crane about, you know, Dr. Crane's not here right now. We'd like to make an appointment. The future movies lost that little bit of humor, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I still think there's some of it in both of the sequels, but I think this one does it better.
Yes.
And maybe that's Goyer's hand, because each movie he was less involved.
Like, it's what's on the way. Like, you know, because Flats has seen Batman. Like, he's not going in there.
Yep. I mean, and then this sequence is very Year One inspired.
Yes, I hadn't long read Year One, like, you know, before I saw this movie, and I had the same vibes. And then, you know, coming up when he does the bat sonar device in his shoe, I almost sat up and cheered. I was just like, it's just like in Year One. I was so pumped.
Well, and you're right. Like, from the moment he leaves his birthday party and this entire stretch of the film, man, it is just, there's just so much Batman goodness here.
Do you think this stuff, like, you know, this being of like not just an homage to Year One, like it's ripped from the pages for the most part, like, do you think that's Goya? Because it feels like this is sort of the stuff that we did lose in the, you know, as good as the other two movies are, particularly The Dark Knight, like, it doesn't have these moments.
I don't know. I mean, because like there's a lot of The Long Halloween in The Dark Knight. There's a lot of Nightfall and No Man's Land and Rises. So I feel like you see the influences in all three films.
You can see the influences, but there's never like a direct scene almost lifted from the comic, though, is kind of what I mean. Like,
it could be. I mean, I know Jonathan Nolan, I think, is a bigger comic book fan than Christopher too.
Yes.
So I feel like, it was, you know, Goyer big time, and then I think Jonathan to a certain extent, and
back up.
Yeah, that's totally just a F yeah moment.
Yep.
It's awesome.
It's a good thing Gordon's not scared of bats.
I know. Thank God.
He's just running through them like carrying Rachel. It's like, man, I'd be shitting myself.
I'd just be worried they'd like poop on me. Like birds, like
they
seagulls.
do poop.
It seems like they would, right? Like, then we're about to get one of the coolest shots in the movie, in my opinion.
Which also was my favorite poster.
Which is same. For me, it's a tie between that one and the one of him holding Rachel. I love both of those.
Yeah,
posters.
That's a cool heroic shot. I like that one too.
Yeah. But this of him gliding down, it's awesome.
You can see coming up here how cumbersome the suit is, though. Like when he's throwing those little grenades and everything, like he's got to move his whole body. Like he can't just move his arm.
So you mentioned the scene earlier that you saw in a talk show. This scene they showed during Smallville as a way to promote the film.
Oh, okay.
And but they did it and there was no music. And
Oh.
so I remember watching it on Smallville and going, this feels really weird. And I was worried. And it was because they did it without a score. Maybe the score wasn't finished. But then when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh, good. It works just fine. But
Here we go.
it was very awkward.
Another movie
I mean-
logic where you can't see or hear a vehicle until until it's right there.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I brought mine. I got to get me one of those.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
So good.
We're having fun now, guys. It's a black tank. The MTV Movie Awards did a whole sketch with this sequence.
Tank Man Begins.
Tank Man. Curse you, a tanker man.
That was on the a bonus on the first ever Blu-ray.
Yes. Yeah, that was
It
it.
had
It was,
the Dark Knight opening scene too.
Right.
Before the Dark Knight had come out.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about it. This is my favorite Batmobile chase in any Batman.
Agreed.
It's amazing. It's
and
so
look,
good.
as much as I do appreciate, the chase from the museum in '89, like, and as much as I love that car, like, you couldn't have shot a scene like this with that vehicle back then.
Yeah.
You just couldn't have done it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and this was the sequence that sold me on the car where I was like, oh, I was wrong. This car is awesome. It does all this awesome stuff. The reveal of when the seat moves and then he is then lowered into the nose of the car to shoot the missile. Like, so cool. Jamie, you still there? You all right?
Yeah. Sorry.
He's just watching the movie.
He's just watching the
This is the danger I have with commentaries on movies I like. 'Cause I'll either talk way too much or not enough at all.
He's like, you guys yammer on. I'm just going to watch this awesome Batmobile chase.
Is it just me, or is the same cop in two different parts of this?
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah. It's a bit of a continuity thing, but...
I told you all white people look alike.
But, oh my God, and so much of this was practical.
Miniature.
Yeah. I mean, miniatures, but also like, there was a whole extra on the DVD of them building the car so it could jump.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's amazing.
I don't know what the roof of that building is made out of, but I want it on my house.
me too. Especially in hurricane season. But, oh my God, and this was my favorite part of the Batman Begins video game. I played those Batmobile chases constantly because they were so fun and they reminded me of this scene.
One of the very rare games that I ever finished was Batman.
Me too.
Oh, I
Me too.
loved it. And then it was so cool at the end. You remember you got to pick different skins for the Batsuit?
Yeah.
Yeah, this cop. Isn't it him that's in different places?
Yeah, I feel like we had already seen him. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
The sound that this car made was like, you'd never heard anything like it before.
You can quibble about Nolan shooting fights, but the man can shoot a car chase.
God, I love it. Yeah, this is a scene I had a feeling if we were just going to be silent watching it, it'd be this.
Well, I'm going to, when we're done, I'm going to go ahead
good.
and rewatch it with sound because that, again, is the saddest thing is not being able to hear it too.
Well, I can hear every bit of it.
I mean, this is that Molasses track from the score, which is just so damn good. And now that I have the new sound bar, I was blowing out, my mother-in-law's ears earlier watching Man of Steel. Like, I need to go watch this with the sound bar.
Has she stuck a label on it so you know it's a sound bar?
Probably. It's like, get ready for some labels, gents.
I can't wait.
Andy steps up out of the podcast and looks at his sound bar, and it's just got a big tape.
The second you said that she is out with Catherine, I'm like, oh, here we go.
She's back in town.
Love the shot of it jumping over into the Batcave through the waterfall. So good.
I love the part that now makes the rounds of this moment where it says like you when your toddler's about to fall asleep in the car.
Rachel! So true.
So true. Like, no, not yet. Not yet. We're about to get home. This moment where he jumps out and glides away.
Glides back, yes.
So good. Yeah, like that part where he glides down back to the car. Like now we're in it. We are in the thick of it and we're just eating good.
I feel like I've seen this guy in other stuff.
He was fake Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know who that is.
That's Gary Oldman, dude. He's in a ton of stuff.
Oh, right.
It's Dracula.
I mean, a bit reminiscent of 89 here, but it
sure
still works really well. Could have at least given her a pillow. Jesus.
He saved her
metal
life.
slab.
Now he's going to operate on her.
Save her or dissect her? Jesus.
Right. This will only hurt for a minute.
Now, see, the scumbag in me wanted to say something to the effect of, Brendan, I can clearly see 2 pillows on that table right now.
It's a bit cold in the Batcave too, just quietly.
Yeah. Put her in his bed. That makes 6 titties.
Jesus. I know it's coming up. I just thought of like, poor old Alfred putting her in the car.
I know.
So icky. Can't show his face because he'll have the raccoon eyes.
Yeah. That's a great shot too, though. Just him taking the cowl off after a
Love
long
this
night at
confrontation
work.
here. Damn good television.
When I always think when I was in college in Illinois, I worked at a local TV station called Downers Grove Television. So it was DGTV.
Mm-hmm.
And our slogan was darn good television.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty close. But yeah, I mean, these scenes also just like so well written, the back and forth between Alfred and Bruce, Alfred challenging Bruce as to what he's doing.
I don't know if I've said it, but I think this is Michael Caine's best performance as Alfred too.
In
the 3.
Yeah. I think this is the moment in the news where it's like, no one was hurt. And you're like, okay.
This is a nice moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just your name. That's why it's so heartbreaking when that one Wayne Enterprises worker that we all love is like, the apple's fallen very far from the tree. And you can see the hurt on Bruce's face of just like, you don't understand.
I know.
Like, I'm doing this to save you.
Right. The obligatory gala. Yep. Always a gala.
What a prick, though. Like, how long's... He just turns up, and then within 5 minutes, just kicks everyone out.
I know, right?
Like, what an asshole.
Well, people with that much money tend to be on the eccentric side.
I love how he's got the golf clubs in the car, too.
You know why the rich are so odd? Because they can afford
it. They can afford to be. It always makes me laugh. It's so creepy.
Yeah. Like, that looks amazing. Arkham, like that, looks so good.
Yeah.
Scarecrow.
Yeah, see, I always thought like that action figure you were talking about was just him in this costume.
Well, again, the one from Begins is him during the climax where he is in the straight jacket, but if the one I send you, that's something else.
Poor old Lucius, like, just mingling with the people who just fired him.
I know.
He's just there for free food.
He's got no job.
Yeah, he's exactly. He's loading up
steel bags and filling his pockets with food.
Yeah. When they kick him out, he's like, "Can I take the shrimp cocktail?"
That's a good line. Security clearance has been revoked. Well, that wouldn't stop a man like you now, would it?
I do. I appreciate this moment because, especially when we first saw it, you know, it was like you had just kind of forgotten about Roz because of everything else. And then when this comes back, you're like, oh shit.
So this was the moment right there where I realized he was Roz. Before he said anything, I know it's way late in the game and all that, but like I thought, oh, they got him in the Lazarus pit and it's him, and he turned around. And then the minute I heard his voice, for some reason the bulb went on my head. Oh, it's him.
Mm-hmm. I like to give him just the hint of the little tips on his beard.
Mm-hmm. And the grey temples.
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised they went with Raz in this and not Raish? Because I know Raish is technically correct because that's how Denny O'Neil calls him. He created him, but
well, no, but the other it was Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams,
Neil
right?
Adams.
yeah.
Neil Adams says Roz, so
Okay.
I don't know if that was unintentional or perfectly intentional that they did that, but I don't know. It feels like they did that just to keep people confused.
I've always preferred
I am
Raz.
over the debate. I'm over the debate. I like Roz. To me, it's phonetically correct.
Yeah.
Raish is not, but I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Call it what you want. I just don't want to debate it.
Because I'd always read it in the comics before I heard it said out loud, and I'd always read it as Raz.
Yeah, as you should, because that's
Yeah.
what those three letters would make.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I call him Roz is because greatest Batman villain ever takes way too long to say.
Yeah.
That moment. Poor Bruce.
But this was the moment I was talking about earlier. I was going to address when we got there, where he's literally acting drunk like a total peckerhead
Mm-hmm.
to get everybody the hell out of his house for their own safety. I mean, that is
Yeah.
so perfect, the way that he delivers that performance.
Yeah. But it's so like heartbreaking because you're like, oh, like you know what he's doing, but it's still, I don't know, I still feel like I feel
It's a great
for him.
moment. It's a great character moment for Bruce.
For sure. Of like, yeah, how do I do this immediately? And this is the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Sacrifices himself.
Yep. This is a terrific monologue from Liam.
Mm-hmm. Some Zaz action again.
Yeah. The marks on like the back of his neck, like it took me forever to see those.
It's very subtle.
It's super subtle.
Yeah, I would have liked to see them a bit, like, and had a few on his face or something, but
Yeah. But yeah, this whole Roz laying out his philosophy, I think is really great. And Liam's another one where I always saw him as just a nice dude, and so to see him play a villain was for me very unique.
Mm.
And I think honestly, I feel like it was against type, which is why I think they got away with the twist, is because people already would buy him as the mentor because Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah.
But he also played a thief in Krull.
Okay.
So he's been a bad guy before.
I'll believe you. I've
That's
never seen that
another,
one either.
Alternative universes. Apparently, he was very heavily considered in '93 to take over Bond for GoldenEye.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that.
That would have been interesting. I can't quite see it.
I could see that working. Brosnan was probably the better choice, but I could have seen Neeson pulling that off. He's just got that swift charm to him,
I just love that after this movie, and then followed by Taken, he just had this whole second career of just being an action badass.
Right, and being like an older action badass. But then how many of those did he make? So many.
The latter part of, that phase, like the movies are terrible, But I've
Not
seen
all of
every
them.
single one
Not
of
all
them
of
because
them.
he's so good in them. Like he's essentially
So-
always playing the same guy, and that's the entertaining part. The rest of it doesn't even matter.
The first Taken was fantastic. The sequels were trash. The Gray was magnificent and sorely underrated.
I liked the is it the one where he was on the plane. I thought that was really good too. How he was the undercover security guard on the plane.
Like
I
a
don't.
Sky Marshal? I don't
I
recall.
don't
Yeah.
remember.
Not non-stop. Non-stop it was.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't think I
see
saw
that.
that one.
It was really good. It was one of the earlier ones, sort of around the time of Taken 2 and 3. So in theory, he should be dead after that. After what happened
well,
to Ross.
Well, fake Roz was a fragile flower, and Bruce is a little more hardy than that. He can survive a falling rafter.
But it does
Are you
lead to
sure
one of my
there
favorite
wasn't like
moments
a-
in the movie.
Are you sure there wasn't like a shard sticking out of the log that fell on Roz, and they just couldn't show it because it's not a movie of a graphic nature of that?
Listen, man, if a shard of wood can kill Logan, it can kill Roz.
People
This
getting
makes me
taken out
sad.
by
Wayne
wood.
Manor. Wayne Manor. Oh,
Right?
Well, at least you know he can move to the lake house.
that's true. He's got a high rise in Gotham. It's also a great escalation for the finale of the film of, releasing all the maniacs from Arkham.
And just how it sets up too, like you get that line at the end of like half the inmates still haven't been round up. It's like, well,
Right.
there's Batman's
Yeah.
fodder for the next, however long that we never see. But gotta love Alfred coming to the rescue here. This moment with him and Bruce coming up is one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Just the look that Bruce gives him is so good. And it gets a laugh every time you see it with an audience.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
can't
What's the
look up
point of
bloody
all those
dog.
push-ups?
That look on Bruce's face of like, F you, old man. Like, it's so good.
They would be cooked alive. Just FYI, they would already be dead.
I always thought it was funny, like the entrance to the Batcave in this. Like you'd hope that you never have like a toddler at your house just mashing the keys.
playing on the piano.
Yeah.
I do love Why Do We Fall? It's gotten a lot of use over the past 20 years, but I love it. I think it's a brilliant piece of writing, and
It's great.
yeah.
Like they make a point of showing Bruce kind of bleeding out there, but then they never address it again.
Yeah, he's still okay. Well, and also just this little moment of never. It's so
Yeah,
good.
and I love the way he delivered. Never.
Yeah, never. Yep, thank you, honey. Could you close the door, please?
Hey, Harley.
There it is. She came in and my candle was blown out. So helpful.
Well, just hope she doesn't cross into the phase of she wants to light everything on fire instead of put the fires out.
That's fair. Yeah, this is better. I'm a Gotham City District Attorney. Okay, I don't know if that matters, but all right, if you want to go, be my guest.
It's the only part of these movies that feels a bit soundstagey, because it is the stuff in the Narrows, but it still works.
It does, especially because it's like intercut with stuff on location. And it still feels so much more real than a lot of the other soundstagey films we've seen.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen the monorail in one of the other movies.
Yeah, just like, again, just for the continuity. It didn't need to be a plot point, but just that it's still there.
Yeah.
Or it's been repaired.
Like,
because
do they
that's
even,
again,
do they even
I'm
mention the arrows in the other two? I don't
I
think
don't
they
think
do.
so. Yeah, so I mean that's like the continuity nerd in me is like I just like to know that we're in the same place, and Gotham looks like three very different places in the three films.
And in this Gotham, only one child lives there.
Yeah, just that kid, just little Joffrey.
And we all know how he turned out.
I know.
I always thought it was funny, the guy just like pointing at Rachel, like,
Yeah,
who are you pointing at?
you. And the word is panic. That's awesome. I like it.
I always thought Raz's gas mask was really cool too.
It is. It's very cool. If you've got to wear a gas mask, make it stylish. I wish I could have bought one of those during COVID. I would have worn it.
No, you would have worn an orange one. Put this on right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have done that too. That's fine.
Still blows my mind that was 5 years ago. God, we're getting old.
Yep.
But even here, like when we see what Flash sees and stuff, like, I don't know. I feel like they could have just gone a little bit further.
Yeah. Yeah. Like all of the fear visions, they're still pretty restrained.
Yeah.
Because Nolan. Like they do just a little bit.
I think it's effective enough. I don't have.
No, it is. It works. It works. It's just, I get it. We're coming up to one of my favorite parts in the movie.
There you go. Suiting up montage. Gotta have one.
Yeah. What we love a good superhero suit up montage. Get your gear.
I wanted a close up of his ass.
What?
That was missing.
Like, what did you say?
I said I wanted a close up on his ass.
Oh, a close up on his ass.
What did you think I said?
I don't know. That's why I was confused. Okay, this is it. This is it. Here's my favorite part. Coming? I'm sorry, it's coming.
I know what you're about. Oh yeah.
Yes.
I agree. It's brilliant.
Sorry, I thought it was that part. Never mind. Continue. Now we get Crane and his.
Here we go.
Oh, here it is. There's nobody left to send in. Boom.
Boom. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Batman. So good.
In the next few minutes coming up, we've been saying all through the movie, G looks good there, but some of my favorite moments of him in the costume are coming up. There's just like some random shots where it's like, God, he looks so good there.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm with you. Like it's not even my favorite suit, but there are a lot of awesome shots, and he just looks great.
It's a cool visual with Scarecrow on the horse too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, whenever there's a horse in a Batman movie, it's a clear reference to The Dark Knight Returns.
And that's it. Just buzz, and away he goes.
Yeah, he's dispersed of a bit easily, but yeah.
It's fine. That never really bothered me either. But when people have said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fair.
Knowing what we know now, like he's the only recurring villain for the 3 movies. It doesn't bother me in hindsight, but in this movie, I'm like, well, that's what happened to him. I love this too. With a kid, like he'll come and then he's like, I told you. It's like, you told you'd save us or something. Like, it's so beautiful.
I mean, forget the John Blake rumors. Do you remember when this movie came out before even The Dark Knight, and people were like, "Oh, is that kid going to be Robin?"
Well, clearly, if there's a kid in a Batman movie, it must.
Well, that's
he's
exactly
wearing red. He's wearing red. This is a nice moment. Like,
yeah.
It's a bit clunky, but
Yeah. But him taking off like that.
yeah.
Oh, yep. And spreads the wings out and starts gliding over Gotham. Oh, it's awesome.
I don't know. I just feel like it would be more effective if he looked like a squirrel instead of a bat.
I wasn't going to say it, but I was certainly
There's a
thinking
shot
it
coming
loudly.
up.
Now, see, I wouldn't like that mask just because of the way it comes right over the top of your ears like that.
When he lands is one of my
Oh,
favorites.
yes.
That right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Love that.
Yep. Amazing.
And there's just coming up in a second when, like, is I can't take two of your pawns. And then he just does this look to the side and just has this look on his face. It's just like, I'm going to F you up. It's so good. Oh, I love it.
Boop.
Yeah.
As you wish.
God, I love that look.
He just dives into one.
Yep.
I love Raz's As You Wish, but it's like also like he can take 4 just as easily.
Yeah. Poor old Gordon in the car.
Gordon driving the tumbler is awesome.
And having like the voice in the car telling you where to go was so high tech back then. And now it's like, you just clip your phone in and off you go.
Yeah.
Still the early days of like Navman and stuff.
Oh my God, yeah. Waiting for the McFarlane figure of Batman with glowing eyes and mouth. Because at this point, why not?
It'll have one of those like clear plastic things on the top of his head.
Yeah.
So the natural light can shine through. Like
shine some light.
Yeah.
Yep.
The old animated series Scarecrow figure did that.
Well, the Legends of the Dark Knight Scarecrow figure does it.
Oh, did it?
Because after I talked with Jay Oz about it, I had to buy one on eBay, and it's sitting right here. Of course, I did.
This is why I can afford to have that many movies in my digital movie libraries, because I don't buy toys anymore.
Well, I do, and I'm out of room. But you know what? It gives me that little quick hit of serotonin, and it's worth it.
Sure does.
I dig this too. Like Batman being dragged around by the monorail, I think is pretty awesome.
I love this old guy. I think he's great.
There was a story about him, and like he's from something, but I don't remember what it was.
I always call him like not Mickey Rooney.
Yeah. I thought it was a Bond connection, but maybe I'm making that up. But he's someone. I feel like it was. I can't remember who.
There's one more shot coming up that is just like my favorite of Bale.
Oh, this one there.
Yeah, yep, that one.
Yep.
And I love the how about this with the gauntlets, how he breaks the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way he's like talking through the gritted teeth and everything. Oh man, I love it so much.
It's a pretty good final battle, like Batman and Ra's on a speeding monorail.
Out of control train, yeah.
Yeah. It stressed me out in the video game, I'll tell you that. But I did it. I just love Gordon's like his dad energy when he's in the Batmobile and he's all like, oh. It's so funny.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's funny is he looks exactly like Scotty's dad.
Oh,
and Scotty, yes, and Scotty's dad is this awkward and like that's all I see when I see that part. Say, Jim, that's a nice car.
You're right. The old guy
Yeah.
Now I know exactly who he is. He was in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, okay.
He was the like the Navy sergeant in The Spy Who Loved Me. The second I saw the poster, I was just like, I can see it now. Like, yep, I know exactly who it was. And
all right.
He was actually in Superman 2.
Oh, was this another like Pinewood Studios production?
I don't know if this was. I know most of it was shot in England, wasn't it?
Well, what isn't Pinewood Studios in England?
Yeah, but I don't know if it was at Pinewood.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it was because I feel like there was a.
It might have been.
Maybe I'm mixing them all up, but
yeah, his character in Superman 2 isn't that dissimilar to his character in The Spy Who Loved Me, actually.
Oh, okay.
And this is an awesome moment that will never ever be debated about again.
Well, as long as you bring it up, what are your feelings on I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you?
That's perfectly fine. He's, what do they say, being hung by your own petard or whatever? It's just like, he created this situation. If you're that good of a ninja or whatever, like, you can get out of it yourself. I've saved everyone else. This is on you.
Okay. Jamie?
I see both sides of the debate. I don't personally care, but I also don't really care when Batman does kill people on purpose. It's never bothered me. So, and yes, I know the purists will say that that's not who he is, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't mind it in the context of this movie. I never did. I thought it was fine. But mostly I get annoyed when like the Nolan fans get on their high horse about Batman not killing. Because I'm like, there are plenty of parts in all three of these movies where it's like, maybe get off that high horse, because if he doesn't murder people, he certainly indirectly kills plenty of them. So, you know what? Ain't nobody perfect in this situation.
One more time for the cheap seats. Every cinematic Batman has killed somebody or been directly responsible for somebody's death, except for Clooney.
Except for Clooney. He's the nicest, warmest one.
He killed
Adam
Batman.
West, Michael Keaton.
Wait. I want to see Batman fly.
Yeah.
That's a little wave from Gordon.
Yep. I did it. Hey,
buddy. What about
you
me?
want to get a beer? Oh. I thought we were friends. Lucius running the staff meeting.
I got another job. Yours. That's terrific. Morgan Freeman was absolutely a brilliant choice to add in this movie.
Yep. He really was. He who knew we needed this much Lucius Fox, but man, does it work. That little shot of Michael Caine of him just being like, Bruce is going to get him.
It is nice seeing people getting their comeuppance.
It is. Just at the end of this, Lucius should have walked up and kicked him in the nuts. Oh, that's like what you said to him.
I would pay money to watch Azim fight Roy Batty. I'm just saying.
Oh. It's sad to see Wayne Manor just burnt down.
Yeah, I mean, if it's burned all the way down, you can't have a big round table with 6 chairs and room for more.
Right.
I just sent you guys a photo of Shane Rimmer, the old guy in Superman 2. You might recognize him.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess so.
Oh, was he one of the
controllers,
space control operator things?
Yeah. Which is so funny because when I was watching Superman 2 a few weeks ago, I'm like, that's the guy from The Spy Who Loved Me. I had no idea it was the same guy. That's
yeah,
really cool.
It's his week.
Is the Christopher Nolan directing Bond movies thing still gaining traction?
Oh, even more so now that Amazon have taken over, dude.
Mm.
Now that the Broccolis, aren't as involved with the creative process, and Amazon having all the money in the world, it's doing nothing but picking up steam. I'd kind of, I'd be okay if it never happened. I don't need a Bond movie to be a psychological mindfuck. I just want to watch a Bond movie. Cold again.
I didn't see that for years.
Really?
And then,
I didn't see the movie bed. I saw the real movie.
Wait a second. You found it on the bed, but you didn't find it on the chest. What? This doesn't make sense to me.
I was watching the movie.
Once again, this is where you were focusing on stethoscopes.
Yeah, I know. Stethoscopes. Very, very
You don't like them normal, you just like them burnt.
But it did make me feel better at the end when I was like, we're just going to rebuild it just the way it was. I'm like, okay, good. There's certain elements of Batman and frankly Superman that it's like, no, you need Wayne Manor. You need the Batcave. Like, you need the Fortress of Solitude. You need the Daily Planet. Like, so.
It is funny that arguably the most popular Batman movie of all time, there is no Batcave or Wayne Manor in it.
Not in a traditional sense, but I mean, the bunker is the Batcave, right? So
it is,
but yes, like
it's not the Batcave.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It is weird. Hey, that was my little claim to fame was I asked Chris Nolan about that on the live stream, and he answered me.
About what?
About I'm like, oh, why didn't we get Wayne Manor in The Dark Knight? And he said, I loved in the 70s when he was in a high rise, and so I used the ending of the Batman Begins to essentially pay homage to that in The Dark Knight. And I was like, oh,
cool.
That makes sense.
You never told me that before. That's really cool.
Yeah. This final scene is perfection.
Yep, indeed.
My God, it's Gordon and Batman on top of police headquarters with the bat symbol. I remember there was a still from the scene that was in like the movie book.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember flipping through the movie book and just seeing that shot of the two of them up there with the bat signal. And I was like, God, that's amazing. But yeah, this conversation between the two of them setting up what's to come. When they say we weren't setting up a sequel, I call bullshit.
They weren't.
They're like, no, it was just a fun little thing. We weren't planning another. Please.
Before, how I said my younger brother had read the novelization, so he didn't spoil this for me, but when it happened in the cinema, like 2 seconds before it did, he was like 3 or 4 seats down from me and like leaned over and looked at me and was just staring at me, grinning like an idiot, waiting for my reaction because he knew it was coming.
That final, I never said thank you and you'll never have to is perfect. It's one of my favorite Batman moments in any media. I absolutely love it. It makes my heart swell. And then him jumping off the roof and gliding away, just a perfect ending to a damn near perfect Batman movie.
Agreed.
And then that music kicks in and get those closing credits. Batman Begins. So now as these credits play, why don't we give some final thoughts about Batman Begins now that it's been 20 years? Jamie?
Well, first of all, it doesn't seem real that it's been 20 years, but
absolutely not.
I shower all the praise constantly on The Dark Knight because I know you all have never heard me say this before, but it is my favorite movie of all time.
Get out of here.
What? But the thing about it is I don't have this one very many marks behind it. I mean, this is a fantastic movie, beginning to end. There's virtually nothing that I would change about this. And the people who tell me that they think this is a better Batman movie than The Dark Knight, I usually don't put up much of a fight. I might give them a little bit of a rib or a nudge and say you're wrong, but the truth is I really don't think they are. I mean, it's just a matter of preference at that point. It's like the Alien versus Aliens debate. There is no right or wrong answer there. It's just whichever one you prefer. And that's kind of how it is with me. But I'm telling you, I love this movie almost as much as I love The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I'm with you. Brendan?
I'll try and keep it short and I'll probably fail, but this movie it's everything. It was literally a life-changing movie for me. I hadn't been involved with this stuff for the best part of a decade. And a decade when you're only in your teens and 20s is a very long time. And this movie came out and it just brought me back in hook, line, and sinker. I was buying, the toys. I hadn't bought a toy for forever, and I was just all in. And like what Jamie said, I think watching it, I had the last, twice in the last week, I have been thinking about it more of like, because it is a crazy thing to say where, The Dark Knight is a better movie, but Batman Begins is a better Batman movie. It's sort of like, it's flawed logic. It's like, well, if it's a better movie, it's a better movie. But I think it is the fact that, and it's not a criticism by all means, it's just the nature of, the story had to progress. But, The Dark Knight is more Harvey's story, and it's more about the Joker, and Batman's still, a main character in it. He doesn't sit in the back seat of his own film like some of the earlier movies he does. But this movie is, of all the films that have ever been made, this is the one that is, it's Batman's story from start to finish. It's Bruce Wayne's story from start to finish. And that is why I've always said it's a better, in inverted commas, Batman movie, because it is about that character. And I mean, we've been saying it, but just everything is virtually perfect. Like Bale's casting, Bale's performance as Bruce Wayne and as Batman. And it is two different characters, and he plays it that way. And the supporting characters around him, and I'm even including Katie Holmes in that. Like, I don't really care what people say anymore. I like her in this movie. I don't think it's a problem. And yeah, it changed my world, and it brought me back into all this stuff hardcore. And it is because of this movie I've met some of the best friends in my life. And this was the linchpin. This started it all. And I will always, as long as I'm alive and breathing, have so much love in my heart for this movie. It's so damn good. And the fact that it's 20 years old just has really, in the last week, made me question my morality more than turning 40 did, I think.
I question your morality all the time, but I think you meant mortality.
Sorry, mortality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
your morality is fucked.
That's in the gutter, but it's funny too, because in the 90s you'd watch a movie from the 70s and it felt old. this doesn't feel old. Like, it hasn't aged. Aside from the phones and the cars, like nothing in it has aged, and it's absolutely love it. Will to the day I die. 5 stars. And I say that in the hopes that in the not too distant future I get a Batman movie that will knock this off the top spot. I want to see this bettered, and that the thought of that happening just excites me.
Yeah, the Batman Begins versus Dark Knight debate, which is not usually a particularly impassioned debate, but it's another one where, like, I don't think there's a wrong answer. They're both A pluses, so however you want to split those hairs, you be my guest. I don't really care. They're both amazing, terrific Batman films. I give this one the slightest of edges, but it's razor thin. And I love this movie. I've always said my favorite Batman movie is Batman 89. I think the best Batman movie is Batman Begins. I think this is a masterpiece, and I absolutely love it. It's crazy, and I talked about it a little bit on Epic Film Guys, but I'll reiterate now, is I wasn't that hyped going into this movie. I was interested, and I paid attention. I read enough on Ain't It Cool to spoil myself, but I wasn't hyped the way I have been for so many other movies. And maybe it's because I was distracted. Who knows? Or maybe it's because I didn't know what to expect. So I watched as it was, getting ready for release, and I was like, interesting. But I wasn't like, holy shit, this is going to be the best. And I also wasn't like, oh my God, this looks terrible. So I went in with a surprisingly open mind. And like I said, as we watched it tonight, from the moment it began, it grabbed me. And it didn't let go until these credits ran. I walked out on a high being like, holy shit, that was amazing. They did it. They did it. They nailed it. It was everything I had wanted in a Batman movie that we had never seen up until that point, plus so much I didn't know I wanted.
Didn't know you wanted, yeah.
Yeah, it delivered every way it could. Like I said, it gave us story and character and amazing performances and a great cast, but it also gave us fun and excitement and action and everything you want from a summer movie. It did all of those things, and it spun all those plates, and it was one of the most satisfying movie going experiences of my adult life. So I walked out of Batman Begins in love with it. I went multiple times. I took different friends to see it. It is a great movie, and I love revisiting it whenever I do. And when I do, I'm always like taken back to that movie theater here in Celebration, Florida, opening night 2005, and just that feeling of being blown away. And it was fun because I expected to like it. I didn't expect it to blow me away the way it did. And that was like the coolest thing, because then I was in love with it. And it's one that I listened to the soundtrack constantly. It's one, when the DVD came out, I would put it on when I went to bed. I played the video game. So, like all of our favorite movies, it was one that I totally fell in love with and then immersed myself in that summer. And that was, a blast. And it holds up. It feels timeless. It feels just as good today as it did back in 2005. So I think that this is a masterpiece. It is, again, it's number 2 on my list, but barely. Because I just think it delivers. It's a masterpiece. I love it.
You mentioned the DVD, and it is worth, being the 20th anniversary, just giving a shout out to that DVD, because I think, because it was, the height of DVD popularity and special features and stuff like that. Like, I think it's the best one that there was, personally.
Yeah.
It was such a good DVD release. And the bonus features being the comic that you kind of had to flick through to get to all the stuff. And it was such a good DVD release. I loved it.
I still have my collector's edition DVD right here on my shelf in my little Batman Begins area.
Yep.
And I just got the Batman Begins McFarlane figure, and it's awesome.
I do not have room on my Nolan shelf for that, but I really want one.
Well, here's the thing. The McFarlane store sells a 2-pack of the Batman Begins Batman and the Batman 89 Batman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that was a no-brainer. I think it was Tim Rooney I have to blame for that, because he had gotten it and he was like, hey, I got because it came with both. I was like, damn you! And I got it.
Because all my figures are the old, is it Kenner that was doing them then? Like
maybe.
It's all that scale, and I'm like, oh, the McFarlane one's just going to throw it all out. But I do want a really cool figure of that original costume, because the good high quality movie figures that came after, they were all the Dark Knight costume.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool because it has one of, it has the hands that you can swap out, and one of the hands has the batarangs in between his fingers, the way he does at the end of the movie. And that's pretty badass. So anyway, point is, I still freaking love this movie. 20 years. It's fun to celebrate it. It was fun to rewatch it with you guys. I am tempted to rewatch it again with sound, because that's how much I love it. But just an amazing movie, and 20 years. Yes. Everyone said it. I can't freaking believe it. Yes. It's a little depressing. Is what it is. Trying not to dwell on it. So it was fun to rewatch it, and hopefully everybody there at home, if you rewatched it with us, I hope you enjoyed yourself. If not, it's a great time to rewatch it and celebrate 20 years of Batman Begins. A Batman movie. It changed Batman, and it changed superhero movies. It really did change the game. And that's not overstated. It really changed everything, and, mostly for the better.
People had heard of reboots before this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the 1-2 punch of this in 2005 and Casino Royale in 2006. That really, like, that reboots were not a thing before that. You get the occasional prequel, which people thought this was, but really, really started off the reboot craze.
It really did. That's very true. So very cool. 20 years. Happy 20 Batman Begins. We'll do this again for 40.
Hopefully.
In 20 years, I'll be 70. Let that sink in for a second.
Oh, no.
I'll be
Anyway, like I said, we're not doing the Wayne Manor mailbox. We're going to save that for next time. But if you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that email address is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. But it's time to get Jamie to bed. He is not good up after 9 p.m. So let's wrap it up. This was a blast. So thank you, gents, for making the time to watch it with me tonight. Jamie, it was great having you back. Glad we made it work. It was worth the wait, I hope.
Yes, it was. Good time talking to you boys. But yeah, it's way past my bedtime.
I can hear you ramping down.
I started ramping down at 4:30 today. I had a very long day at work. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
but anyway, anywhere else that people can find you these days?
Occasionally floating around Real Fans groups on Facebook. Occasionally doing stuff on Letterboxd. Someday I'll write my review of Sinners because I will have actually watched it, but my son is holding me hostage on that movie, and I'm kind of pissed off about it. But other than that, just kind of watching a lot of Superman content, getting hyped up for a movie that, as of right now, is less than 4 weeks away.
Yeah. I mean,
nearly a fortnight.
I was going to say like almost 2 weeks away. 1, 2, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep, 2.5 weeks, man.
Oh, wow.
It's very exciting. What about you, Brendan? Well,
you can find me skulking around the Real Fans groups on Facebook, questioning my morality, and on Letterboxd.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I already told you guys where to find me. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for streaming or downloading the show. Please do follow or subscribe to Holy BatCast wherever you get your podcasts. We would love that. If you want to support us, something else that you could do, doesn't cost a penny, is to just rate and review us. That would be awesome. Only takes a minute of your day, and a 5-star rating goes a long way and makes me feel like I'm not wasting my time. So that would be swell. Again, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaur Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And that will do it. On behalf of Brendan and Jamie, I've been Andy. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. And let's go tuck in Jamie, say his prayers, kiss him on the forehead.
How about you just carry me up to bed? Because that's like 4 flights of stairs that I don't want to deal with right now.
That's fine. Brendan, I'll take the feet. You take by the shoulders and we'll get him up there.